Welcome back, everybody, to the 28th Annual Rare Air Emerald Coast Volkswagen Show. I'm your host, the Duckman, and guess who forgot his SD card to his camera today? Yeah, this guy. Anyway, behind me here we have Ruby, and Ruby is pulling Eleanor. This is not something that you see every day. The cars weigh approximately the same, and I'll tell you what, Ruby was tossed all over the place by Miss Eleanor. Man, every single vibration, every single shake, every single wiggle that car had, I felt it. Man, I felt scary, a little dangerous, you know. I didn't know if it was going to hold up, but my hitch made it here. There's not a single problem with it. All my welds held. So I think we're good. So anyway, here's to a good start of the day. I'm about to set up my display over here. Got to wait for a few people to get out of the way with some trucks and stuff, and then we'll get set up. And hopefully I can get everything else recorded on this phone for today's video. So licky, like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pluck that dingle bell so you get updates every time I upload a video. Check out Duck Shit down there for all my social media links. And we'll see you right after that intro. Well, it looks like Miss Ruby slung a little bit of hot oil here on Eleanor. You jealous bitch. Just kidding. I love both my girls. I'd put you both in my bed if I could. Well, we're all set up over here. For some reason, my chains got shorter this year. I think actually these are the scrap ones that were cut off when I cut them to the proper length. So I just used some tie downs and tied it to Ruby and, you know, made my point that you're not supposed to go in this area. But you know what? People still did anyway. So despite me forgetting my SD card this morning, and the fact that my phone filled up as soon as I started recording video, some of my friends were wonderful enough to provide some video clips, and that's what you'll see coming up. Welcome back, everybody. It's a few days past the car show, and man, it's just, it's been exhausting, to say the least. Last week, I hardly got any sleep, and it's been really, really tough, and I tried to get this video summary recorded by the end of the car show, but it just wasn't possible. I had too many people up my ass. And I kid you not, it wasn't even like about the show, it was about everybody wanted favors, everybody wanted my help with something, and I promised everybody yes, and I think that's my problem, that's my fault, and I probably shouldn't have done that, and next year, I won't. I did put myself first, though. Getting Eleanor home was the absolute priority. Putting her away, back in her bubble, and making sure she was safe was what I needed to do. But people were doing so much of this, and touching my things, and moving stuff around, and trying to help, despite me telling them not to. Stop touching my stuff. Stop being involved. Stop trying to help. I understand you're trying to be helpful, but you're hurting me. You're actually making this hard for me. I've done this before. I know what I'm doing. Stop. It's very different from people in the comments here that are telling me you're doing things wrong versus people that are actually forcing a hand on things that shouldn't be touching. Anyway, without carrying on too much, I did win some awards, and Ruby herself won second place for Type 3. How about that? So, congratulations, Ruby, my tow vehicle. I'm so proud of her. I mean, honestly, this wasn't so much something that I wanted to put in the show as I needed a tow vehicle because the 350Z needs tires. I don't feel like paying for tires at the moment. I just don't. I've been driving it around on a spare for really short distances. The car still does run. I'm keeping it maintained. I just don't feel like buying tires. I don't know. I keep putting it off. I'm going to do it, though, probably very soon. But I haven't yet. In the morning, though, oh, man, so many equipment problems in the day. The car show was just an absolute myriad of things failing, things not working out right, and just issues. The very first one, when I went outside in the morning to move the 350Z out of the garage door so that way I can get Eleanor out, I hit the button on a remote. Nothing happened. I saw the little red light on the dashboard flickering, but nothing happened. So I put the key in the door, unlocked the door, went inside, no dome light. Put the key in the ignition, dead. Don't know what the hell happened there. So I disconnected the battery, reconnected the battery, and after a couple cycles of that, I got the headlights flashing on it like some kind of a security thing went wrong. I don't know what was going on there. Really strange. No horn beeping, just the lights are flashing. And when I hit the button, I can make them stop flashing, and the red light would go on and off. It just... Anyway, I don't know what the hell was going on with it, but I needed her out of the driveway, so Big Blue had to move. So I just pulled the e-brake down and let it roll backwards down the driveway as far as I could. It would have been great if it was completely out of the driveway. Then I could have got Eleanor straight out, but instead I had to do a series of K-turns pushing the car around to get the car out of the driveway so that way I could hook it up to Ruby here and get it to the show. And I was a little late for the show. I know the beginning of the video said 7 a.m. I was there probably around 7:15. I wanted to be there between 6 and 7. 6:30 would have been optimal for me. But because I had to do the extra things to get the Z trying, it was a headache, just a complete headache. Needless to say, Eleanor did make it to the show, and Eleanor still made it home from the show, and typically she comes home at around 4:30 after the show is over. Before the sun gets down, I can get her back in the garage, turn around and go back to the car show for our post-party before the sun is even, before it even starts to dim at all. This year, Eleanor didn't get home till 2 a.m. Again, massive interruptions and just people bothering me and just up my ass, and that comes to this next problem. The next problem is, Eleanor won first place. Now, that's not the problem. The problem is, this is the second first place ribbon I was given. Somebody stole my first one. In all that confusion of everybody interrupting me and getting in my way, somebody actually stole my prize ribbon. And Wild Bill's like, oh, did somebody steal your second place ribbon? I was like, come on, Bill. Nobody steals a second place ribbon. They steal a first place ribbon. Anyway, thankfully we had an extra for some of the classes that didn't have any cars in them, so I just swagged another one, and I was able to make myself whole again. But needless to say, I can't believe it. I gotta watch people. They're stealing shit from me now. Anyway. From now on, I pack everything up. Anybody tries to help or get in the way, I'm gonna send them away. If I'm trying to shoot photos, and this is what happened. Everybody kept walking in my photos. It's like, go away, guys. I guess this is what Hollywood celebrities deal with, but probably on a much larger scale. And everybody wants to see and talk to the Duckman, and I'm cool with that, really. There's a time and a place that when I'm working, get the fuck away from me. This is one of the reasons why I don't work on my own stuff at Tech Session. I'll help other people. It's a day that I contribute, but it's not a day that I work on my own stuff. I'll do it here while I'm alone, and if I need help, I'll call somebody, which typically they never show up anyway, but that's another story for another day. That's not what this video deserves today. But anyway, first place right there for Eleanor. Eleanor also nearly won Best Paint, but Wild Bill didn't want to give, I guess that doesn't clip in there, does it? Nope, won't. I'm just going to hold it then. Wild Bill didn't want to give Best Paint to Eleanor yet again for another year. I guess that makes sense. She's, trying to be fair, but Eleanor, hands down, had the best paint at the show. In fact, so many people inquired about Earl at Classic Car Creations. They all wanted to have a paint job of that caliber. And in fact, one particular guy who participates in our show has a whole chain of body shops across the country. And the guy he's very well off, to say the least. But he wanted Earl to do his car instead of having his own people do it. Now, I'd say probably in his defense, his people are probably crash fixers. They take these insurance claims and then they flip these cars back out and get them painted. And, they're not doing a proper restoration where they paint in all these little detailed areas where people are going to be looking because they want to see a beautiful restored car. This is an everyday driver that probably somebody's going to scrap in less than 10 years anyway. Throwaway cars. So in his defense, yeah, his guys, they do the job that's good enough. It's good enough. It's not that, museum quality job that Eleanor does, and he wants Earl to do an Eleanor quality job on his own Beetle. And his Beetle's going to be some V8 Beetle or something. I think Wild Bill's pulling a body or something off of another car to put onto his custom chassis he's having built. The guy's got money, to say the least. But putting a V8 in a Volkswagen, I'm not too fond of that. But at least it's going to be behind the driver. It's not going to be up front. As I hate opening the hood on a Volkswagen and seeing an engine. That bothers me. I can't even describe why. It does. It doesn't belong there. But the car show was an absolute success. 216 cars registered, which is our biggest show ever. We've come close to that, I think, within something like 5 cars or something less than that. But it's a record this year. And the only reason we came that close, by the way, is because I forced registrations out of people at the last minute. When I say, hey, we could break the record from the year before, can you guys get registered? I ended up with like another 5 registrations. So actually the gap is much wider than you might expect. But probably 300 plus cars showed up. There's always more cars that show that aren't registered, that just park themselves between others, show up with their friends, or, they do what they do. So the car show was huge. It's probably the second biggest Volkswagen car show on the Gulf Coast, the biggest one being Bug Jam down in Dade City, which got belted with all them hurricanes. I don't know what their situation is, but they're inland quite a ways, and they should be high grounds. In fact, the place is on a hill, so they're probably okay for whatever that's worth. But we do have the biggest show on the second biggest show on the Gulf Coast, and I'm proud to toot the horn on that. Now, I built the website for the car show and the judging system and everything, so registration dumps immediately into judging, so people can go out with their phones and judge and register their cars. And quite to my surprise, our car show, through my website, has generated $33,000. I still can't believe that. I didn't even know it was that high. I just ran a little script on all the totals and spat out a number, and I looked at it, and I didn't think it was right, so I started handwriting these things and did the math on it myself, and I was like, no, that's right. Holy shit, guys. Just holy shit. So I might be one of the biggest contributors to our car club as far as fundraising activities are concerned, because, well, that website generated a lot of sales, and that was something we never had before in the past. So, toot toot, Duckman. To the rescue once again. Well, happy for my first and second place trophies. Both Eleanor and Ruby placed in the car show, Type 3, and this was in progress. I don't think I mentioned that, but this was an in progress class. But Eleanor did get enough points because she's so beautiful and so attractive, and people were so drawn to this car, that I could have put her in the Beetle Custom class and still got a trophy. So, quite to my surprise, even though the car is unfinished, it's doing that well in our show circuit. So I'm really making a huge push on Eleanor this winter, trying to get the electrical together, because if the electrical works, then we can take the next step, which is getting the engine running, getting it driving, because you can't drive it without electrical. And then I can start worrying about things like glass and putting interior components together. And then finally, the things that people are always asking about, have been asking about since I cut the car in half when I first got it. What kind of stereo are you putting in it? We'll worry about that in the very, very end. So, I guess that's going to be it for today. Our car show is again running next year. We already have 17 registrations for next year. We've already generated some $700, and the show is still a whole year away. Hit up rareairvw.com if you want more information. If you're in the Gulf Coast area or going to be in a Gulf Coast area with your Volkswagen, come October 18th of 2025, you can register your car right now. And you get discounts for registering now, by the way. It's going to cost you more on day of show. If you buy one of our show t-shirts, you can also get a discount on it, too, as a combo package with your registration. So, rareairvw.com, more information about that. Duckshit.net for all of my social media links if you'd like to talk to me or ask me questions about the show or anything else that you got coming up. If you want to know more about Ruby, you want to know more about Eleanor, about how I towed her there, and I wish I would have recorded video while I was driving, but man, My nerves were racked because, like I said, every time I hit a bump or something and Eleanor would do this, Ruby would do it too. This car is very light, has very skinny tires, and yeah, she was thrown around quite a bit. Thankfully, I wasn't going fast. I don't think I ever exceeded 45 miles an hour, which is the highest speed limit anyway between here and there, but I wasn't even at that speed for very long. But, yep, she's been good. She's been good. She's already dusty, man. You were beautifully shiny just a few days ago. All right, well, like it, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pluck that ding bell so you get updates every time I upload a video. Check out duckshit.net for all my different social media links. Thanks, you guys, for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next go-around.